Welcome to the Woodlands, which is a historic cemetery in Philadelphia, but it wasn't always a cemetery. And there's also 3 Disney connections I was able to find with some of the residents of the cemetery. So I thought I would just show you around. It's in West Philly and that's my neighborhood. So just come with me for a walk. The land that became the Woodlands began in 1735 as an estate purchased by a Philadelphia lawyer named Andrew Hamilton, and it passed through his family eventually to his grandson, William Hamilton, who inherited it in 1766. And on the grounds he built a mansion, and he also had a large botanical garden with over 10,000 plant species. After his death, most of the land was divided and developed into what is now West Philadelphia, but the core of the estate was preserved and became Woodlands Cemetery in 1840. It's like 80 degrees today, and it's kind of one of the first 80-degree days we've had this spring, and it is really beautiful. Trees are still in bloom, and the Woodlands definitely has no shortage of beautiful giant trees. I don't know if you can see this with the glare, but this is a section map of the cemetery, and the first one I went to look at is in this section L. So we just came in here, so I just need to wind around to this section L, and then we'll talk about one of the residents there. I came across the Philadelphia Orchard Project. So this area is a 1-acre demonstration orchard containing 90 fruit and nut trees, berry gardens, and pollinator gardens. That's cool. And I think it's so crazy that this was at one time considered like the rural part of, not even part of the city. And now you're just literally in the middle of West Philadelphia now. Like there's a giant hospital over there, Penn Medicine, and CHOP, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia or Pennsylvania. And as you just heard, the trolleys go by right by here. So it is crazy to think one time this was like a rural area. So that is the Hamilton mansion there up in the distance. And this that we're passing right now is the carriage house for the mansion. Looks like right now the Woodlands organization is either replacing the roof or have replaced the roof. Can't tell. This door is open. Oh, restrooms. That's good to know. And they have, like, since this is a nonprofit organization that I guess is responsible for the upkeep, they have like events here throughout the year. Like I want to say, I can't remember what time of year, but there's like a craft fair, and I think they do kind of like a Jane Austen era like promenade type thing. Of course I've been to none of them in the 7 years I've lived in West Philly, but it is a beautiful space. And I think that would be really fun. The Hamilton Mansion within the Woodlands Cemetery is a Georgian-style mansion that was originally built in 1770, and it became one of the greatest domestic American architectural achievements of the 18th century. It's recognized as a leading example of English taste, and it influenced architectural trends in the following century. So this, I don't know if mausoleum is the right word, but is part of the Drexel family. And the first person I'm looking for is part of this family. So I just need to find specifically what area they're in. So I can't get any closer because there's this fence here. But this is the grave of Anthony J. Drexel Biddle. So he was the son of kind of 2 prominent Philadelphia families, the Drexels, who I just mentioned, and the Biddles. And he was kind of an eccentric person. He was an author, amateur boxer, and sports reporter. And he also wrote articles for different magazines about his frequent travels. and he wrote 3 books that also are kind of all over the map, kind of reflecting his eclectic taste. So Do or Die in 1937 was a handbook on combat methods. The Froggy Fairy book in 1896 was an illustrated set of fairy tales. And the book The Madeira Islands 1896 is a guidebook and history of his travel to those islands. So the Disney connection here is actually, there is a musical movie called The Happiest Millionaire that came out in 1967, and this was actually the last live action film to be produced by Walt before his death. And it's a musical comedy, so the music is by the Sherman Brothers, of course. But honestly, it's kind of a weird movie. So the movie is on Disney Plus and you can watch it. I've watched it 1 time, and honestly I need to rewatch it because yeah, it's kind of a strange movie a little bit. I mean, not hard to follow. I just don't think I was paying very good attention. But like I said, it's a musical comedy. I'm reading my notes. But it's following that man's life, and it's like specifically set in 1916, and it's kind of told from the perspective of a new butler, an Irishman who is the new butler for the family, and it's set in 1916. So it's about his Bible and boxing school, and he has like a pet alligator, and it's a wacky movie. But I do want to actually rewatch it. And when I watched the movie, I learned that, you know, it was about this Philadelphia person, and if you're in Philadelphia, like, you definitely know the name Drexel, obviously. I just thought that was crazy. I was like, what? This is in Philadelphia? And then I realized, I'm like, oh, he's literally buried in my neighborhood. So weird, crazy connection, small world. Oh, and also in that movie, the person who plays the maid is, I can't remember her name now, but she plays Ellen the maid in Mary Poppins. So it's like another small world, Disney World connection. But yeah, so that is here, and I'll show you a couple other people. So let's move on. Okay, I did not show you, but I have been walking around for at least 15 minutes trying to find the grave, this next one that I wanted to show you. This place is really big, and of course, because some of the headstones are really old, like the ones that were like mid-century are still in good shape, but some of them are in really poor shape and you can't read them very well. So finally found the next one. So this one is Asa Whitney. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. Asa, it's A-S-A Whitney. And of course I have somebody doing lawn work right next to me, so apologies for that. So he was an inventor, a manufacturer, metal worker, and blacksmith. He actually had like a dream for the Transcontinental Railroad across the US. Didn't happen as a result of his efforts, but it, you know, eventually did happen. But particularly a point in his career, he and his partner Matthias Baldwin, who was a pioneering locomotive builder, they established the company called Baldwin Locomotives in Philadelphia. Actually done a reel about Baldwin Locomotives because they were located in Philadelphia and they built locomotive engines, but all 4 of the train engines at Walt Disney World, and I think at least 2 of the Disneyland ones, were built by Baldwin Locomotives. So him and his partner were the individuals who started that company, which I just think is so crazy. So really cool, like, train history here, and also Disney history and Philadelphia history. So I love when those 3 things converge. All right, I had a much easier time finding this third one I wanted to show you. I think I'm actually kind of getting good at reading this map. This individual, Charles Herman Schmaltz, I'm pretty sure this headstone has been replaced at some point because he died in 1859. Actually, he didn't live very long, 1823 to 1859. Don't ask me to do the math, but it doesn't feel like very long. But as this headstone points out, he was an artist, and he was born in Germany, but he was a German-American artist. And one of his most famous works is the mural on the domed ceiling within Philadelphia's Academy of Music. And the Academy of Music is in Philadelphia. It's a beautiful venue from, I think, 1856, I want to say, is when it was completed. And I had the pleasure for working for the organization that runs it and runs the shows that are still in that theater. I no longer work there, but I love that space. It's one of my favorite spaces in like all of Philadelphia. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably heard me talk about before how it was the original home for the Philadelphia Orchestra, and the Philadelphia Orchestra played there for decades, like a long time, probably 100 years. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But the Philadelphia Orchestra was the orchestra who did the music for the original Fantasia, and it was actually recorded there as well in the Academy of Music. So this man's mural was in the same room as Walt Disney and the Philadelphia Orchestra when they recorded Fantasia. I know that one's kind of a stretch, but I love the Academy of Music, so I really wanted to point out that individual, and I didn't know that was his name. So this was a little bit of a rushed visit. I'm actually on my lunch break right now, so I have to get home to keep working. But yeah, I just was like, I haven't done a video in a while. I've got a lot going on personally, which I will tell you about soon, but I'm like, I want to do a video, something in my neighborhood, something without overthinking it. And so I did a little research and found these cool people that are, laid to rest here. And it is a special place. Like, obviously you want to be respectful if you visit any cemetery. But I'm glad I got to come here. It's also, it's a weird connection, but it's also like my, I guess, birthday month. I turn a new age later this month. And I always have a crisis about the passage of time generally, and it's an age that I feel is like a very serious age, definitely in my late 30s now. So I've just been thinking about that, but it's always a nice time to kind of reflect on where you are in life, what you've accomplished, what goals you have ahead, and I feel really good about where we're at the moment. More to come on that soon. So I hope you enjoyed those little tidbits. If you would, please give this video a thumbs up, and I'd be so appreciative if you should decide to subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.